Welcome to Wawasan Wire. Today we're talking about Sanusi's defense of Kedah's controversial issues.
We are, and it's really a fascinating case study in modern political strategy, isn't it? How these very local, almost administrative issues can just explode onto the national stage.
Absolutely. We're looking at two big ones. That alleged massive spike in property assessment tax, and maybe the weirder one, the whole thing with Gardenia bread.
And according to Kedah's Menteri Besar, Datuk Seri Sanusi, both of these were deliberately twisted.
Twisted by who, specifically?
His political opponents. He's pointing the finger mainly at Pakatan Harapan leaders, claiming they took these Kedah issues and basically exported them.
All the way to Sabah, right in the middle of their state election campaign.
Thousands of kilometers away. So today we really want to unpack his defense. Understand the tactic here. How does a technical policy review become a national fear campaign that's all about your ringgit and your vote? Okay, let's start with the one that really got people worried. That number, 245%, a 245% increase in property tax.
It's a shocking figure. It is. I mean, you hear that and you immediately think about your own bills, your own budget. It's designed to scare every homeowner in the country, not just in Kedah.
And that's precisely where Sanusi centers his whole argument. He says that figure was completely distorted to create panic, and he lays out a context that he argues was, well, conveniently left out of the headlines.
So let's get into those details. That 245% number, where did it actually come from?
Okay, so first thing he stresses is the status of the proposal. It's only in the review and discussion stage.
So it's not even a done deal.
Not even close. It's still completely open to objections from anyone affected. It's not some final bill that's been sent out.
That's a huge point. That already kind of takes the air out of the panic.
It does. And second, the scope. He was very clear. This is not a statewide tax hike. It is only, and I mean only, within the jurisdiction of the Alor-Setar City Council.
Just Alor-Setar, not all of Kedah.
Exactly.
But that number, 245%, surely that doesn't apply to your average person living in a terrace house.
Not according to Sanusi's explanation, no. This is the core of it. That percentage applies to one single entity.
One,
a large furniture factory. He explained that when this factory opened, way back, about 33 years ago,
wow, okay.
they were given a special incentive to attract businesses to the area. Their tax was set at a really low RM 400 a year.
So a decades-old discount is finally being updated.
Precisely. After more than 30 years, they're just being moved back to the standard assessment rate. The new rate is RM 1100.
And for a huge factor, that's not that much, relatively speaking.
Sanusi broke it down. He said for a big commercial factory that's been making profits for 3 decades, this increase is about RM 90 a month. It's a commercial rate correction, not a new tax on ordinary people.
That reframing is everything. It shifts the story from, the struggling Malaysian citizen to a profitable company just paying its standard rate.
But this is where the politics comes in. Sanusi points to the law itself. He says the Local Government Act gives everyone a 42-day objection period.
Right, there's a process.
There's a legal process. And he argues the opposition jumped the gun, framing this as a done deal, a statewide crisis, before that 42-day window was even over. They basically used speed to beat accuracy.
So the strategy was to take this very specific, localized commercial tax review, which was still in consultation, and blow it up into a weapon.
A weapon to create fear about Pakatan National and your cost of living. That's the heart of his defense. A technical review turned into a scare tactic.
Okay. That makes sense of the tax issue. But now we have to pivot to the other one, the stranger one.
The bread.
The bread. Why was everyone suddenly talking about Gardenia bread in a political campaign? How does that even become a thing?
Well, from Sanusi's perspective, the absurdity of it is kind of the point. He called it a small matter that was massively amplified because, in his words, the opposition couldn't find any real major issues in Kedah to use against Pakatan National.
So if you can't find a governance crisis, just create one, no matter how silly it seems.
That's his claim. And he actually linked the two issues together, the bread and the tax. He talked about a local government executive council member who asked why this unresolved tax issue was being debated on a political stage in Sabah.
Okay.
And that council member apparently said, with a lot of sarcasm, that the opposition should focus on something simple, like giving out Gardenia bread instead of spreading false information about Kedah's local government.
Ah, so it was a sarcastic jab that got turned into a literal controversy.
It seems so. It's a sharp political move, right? It implies your opponents are only capable of simple charity, not complex policy. But it was twisted.
And Sanusi sees this whole thing, the tax fear, the bread nonsense, as a coordinated tactic.
Yes, a tactic to build a negative national reputation for Paracatan National, to paint them as incompetent and economically dangerous, especially to hurt their chances in a state election happening far, far away.
Which brings us to the strategy. Why export these issues? Why is something happening in Alarcedar being debated in Sipanggar Gardens, Sabah?
Yeah.
I mean, the distance is enormous.
Sanusi's claim is straightforward. He says Pakatan Harapan leaders had to import a crisis because they didn't have strong enough local issues in Sabah to campaign on.
Lacking local grievances, so you bring some in from the peninsula.
That's the accusation.
Yeah.
That the message to Sabah voters was essentially, don't vote for Paracatan National or your taxes will go up by 245%, using a commercial tax review from another state as the main tool of fear.
And he argued this could actually hurt Sabahans directly.
He did. He gave a specific example. The Paracatan National candidate for Karumbunai, Datuk Ali Akbar,
And how did he describe him?
as gentle, articulate, and academically qualified. Sanusi's point was, if a candidate like that gets rejected because voters are scared off by a fake bread issue from Kedah,
Then the real losers are the people of Sabah.
exactly, they miss out on a good representative because of an imported, manufactured controversy. It's a potent argument that voters are being tricked into voting against their own interests.
And it really only works because of how fast information moves now.
Sanusi acknowledged that. In the current information age, news, or in his view, misinformation travels instantly. A small administrative detail can be twisted and amplified to damage a government's economic image thousands of kilometers away.
It really exposes a huge challenge for anyone in government, doesn't it? The actual tedious legal process, like that 42-day objection period, just can't keep up with the political narrative.
It can't. The fear about what it means for your ringgit travels much, much faster than the clarification.
So when you step back and look at the whole picture, you've got this dual narrative, a legislative process being politicized on one hand.
And on the other, you have these minor, almost silly issues being blown up and sent across state lines to influence an election. And the goal is always to hit people where it hurts their wallets. Using a number like 245% is designed to do just that.
So for you listening, instead of just focusing on who's right or wrong, maybe we should think about the implications. When these long-distance political attacks become a core strategy, how can the average voter tell the difference? How do you separate a boring technical reassessment from a genuine threat?
That's the critical question, isn't it? What's the cost to our local democracy when things can be manipulated so easily? If a commercial tax review in a Lor Sitar can become a deciding factor in a Sabah election, it makes casting an informed vote incredibly difficult.
It definitely gives you a lot to think about. The next time a shocking number or a strange story goes viral, maybe we all need to stop and ask, what's the real context here? And which politician, maybe hundreds of miles away, stands to gain from the fear this is creating?
A very necessary way of thinking in today's world.
Remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this.